Hey everyone, welcome to my mini masterclass for Global Entrepreneurship Week on networking with purpose. I'm Lewis Maleh. I'm the founder and CEO of Bentley Lewis, and we are a global boutique executive search firm. Great to have been invited. When I started my business, which we're coming up to 13 years, I actually attended one of these events back then, and we're celebrating 15 years of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So it was in the early days, and I attended live events. I think it was in King's Cross at the time, and I went to some brilliant sessions, and it really started to give me the confidence that I needed to start my own business. And so it's really nice to have come full circle and now giving a little masterclass for Global Entrepreneurship Week. My session, as I mentioned, is on networking with purpose, and it's such a core part of everything we do in business and in life and all of that stuff. And I'm going to go through how I do it. I'm splitting it into 3 sections. I'm going to talk about real networking is about connecting. I'm going to talk a bit about overcoming barriers and our fears, and that stops a lot of folks from connecting with people. And then the third is I'm going to talk a little bit about how to actually go about growing your network, like a step-by-step guide, the stuff that I do, the stuff that I've been doing for years. I speak with thousands and thousands of people about work, careers, life, business. I speak with founders, CEOs from all over the planet. And I asked them, like, how have you got to where you've got to? What are the things you've done? And these things are learnable, and you can put them into practice and they work. These are things that have worked for other people, and you can do them, and you can change them for your style. But there's certain things that you can do to really have a huge impact in the way that you network and you meet folks. Really important. I have also a podcast, video cast, and so forth. So if you want to dive in and listen to some of the people that I've spoken to about it after this mini masterclass, of course, jump on the recruitment show. If you put on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Bentley Lewis, we have a YouTube channel, and all of the different videos are there as well. So feel free to dive in and enjoy that. Research shows that referrals is one of the, if not the top way of getting business, being hired, hiring. Those personal relationships can really pay off. And to have a personal relationship with someone, you need to spend time with them. And so this is the other thing about networking, is you're actually going to invest time being with people. Otherwise, you're never going to make friends with them. So there's way too many people that use excuses as a reason not to go and network. I'm going to dispel all those myths and tell you how to do it. For me, it's about connecting with people. It's not about selling. It's not about trying to leverage people for work. A lot of people make the mistake of selling, thinking like, well, what can you do for me? Or you're in this company and I'm selling a widget. No one likes to be sold to. So think of networking as making friends. And that's how I think of it. Take a genuine interest in someone, like be curious. When I'm networking, when I'm connecting with folks, when I'm meeting someone for the first time, I try and think about like what are the commonalities that we have? Like what do we share? There's always something. If you take the time to ask questions and understand, then you start to learn about someone. People like it when you take an interest. They like it when you're asking them questions, when you're genuinely interested in their story. Think of it like that. That's just for me, like the cornerstone of networking is no, don't sell, don't ask, don't try and take, but it's about finding out and being curious. And if you take that approach, it's just such a wonderful way to go about it. It's more natural. It's actually about, I really want to get to know you. I really want to understand what your story is. I want you to be part of my community. It's so important for everything you do, whether you're trying to build your business, whether you're trying to start one and you just don't quite know enough folks, or you're trying to get a new job, whatever it might be. Building a community of people around you is absolutely critical. And these are people that you've spent time with. So the other thing with networking is that a lot of people, they go to an event and then they try and meet someone and it's a sell and you pop the business card over and things like that. And it just doesn't feel quite natural. And I think for me, and I take the approach of just having a genuine interest in like what they're up to, what they've done, how they've got to where they've got to, how can I help? Focus on the community, focus on making a genuine connection with someone. You'll be amazed at what happens. And, so if you do that, watch what happens, and it's going to really transform the way you think about it and do it. And suddenly, from being a scary place, it suddenly becomes way easier. So I'm going to show you a little video. There's a wonderful, wonderful guy called Imran Qureshi. He is the president of Willis Towers Watson. And we did a podcast together about a year ago, wonderful podcast about this very topic. And I'm going to play a little snippet from our conversation about networking with curiosity.
I've had to develop networking skills. As I've done that over the years, it starts from a place of curiosity. So if I'm curious about somebody, it actually becomes very natural. See, networking doesn't become this alien, scary thing. It just becomes a way of learning and being interested. It's human nature to look for areas of commonality, I think, right? So, and we're striving to make a connection. And when you make a connection that's real and substantive, you just feel really good about that. You feel like that's you've connected with somebody on a human level, not a superficial level, but a deeper level. It has to be grounded in authenticity. It has to be grounded in that you're not just doing it to get something out of it. You're doing it because you're authentic as an individual and you're seeking to build a relationship and you're curious. I tell you, I can spot a mile off somebody that's inauthentic, and it really rubs me up the wrong way.
And I also think about networking as it's socializing. Think of it like that. Like you're down the pub or a coffee shop or whatever, and you're with a few friends, and a new person comes in, a friend of a friend, and suddenly you're chatting and what you're up to, and that's for me, that feels like that's the way to do it. We talk about networking as like meeting new folks, and that is, and I think of it as a couple of different buckets, and think like maybe bucket one is people that you already know. So these are folks that know me. And it's just a brilliant place to start. That's how I start. And so I'm always reconnecting with folks, always. Like my day, I'm always trying to push my business forward that little bit extra every single day. And that could be just by dropping an email, sending a LinkedIn message, a DM, whatever, to someone that I know. Maybe it's someone that I've done work for, someone that I've placed, a friend, something like that, to say, hey, hope all's going well. Fancy catching up for a virtual coffee, an in-person coffee if they're in the UK, things like that. And I do that every single day. It's like my diet, like have my breakfast in the morning. Before I make my coffee, I jump on and I connect with people. I just keep pushing it forward. And they say it takes like 7 to 10 times to speak with someone before they actually realize what you do. So something like that, right? To become friends with someone, you've got to spend time with them. You meet someone and you need to speak to them again and speak to them again and speak to them again. And every few months I'm reconnecting because I want to make friends with these people. Genuinely want to make friends with these people because they're interesting and we can help each other. And I'm just coming from a place of, I just get energy from meeting people and listening to their story. And I absolutely love it. And that's how I do it. And I do that every single day. And it's really worth doing that. So with your bucket one, these are folks that you know. So you're reaching out to them all the time. And then gradually you'll find that people will start referring you because you want like advocates, right? Like firstly, you've got to advocate for yourself because if you're not advocating for yourself, no one's going to do it. And then you have like all these people that you're helping, and people like to help people that help them. There's this wonderful thing called reciprocity. Again, don't be afraid to ask people for help. Like your bucket one, these are people that you've invested time in. This is your community, like you're helping your community and your community will start to help you. Some people, they go really crazy on asking people to connect them with people, and people don't always feel comfortable to do that, even if it's your best mate. Like some people just don't feel comfortable like referring or connecting, and that's cool. right? So just gauge the vibe a little bit. Like if it's someone that, you know, they're a bit nervous or they're not that comfortable connecting to folks, don't push it. It's fine. But again, do it in a nice, authentic way. And focus on this community building. And if you do focus and invest time, you'll create the opportunities for yourself to be able to ask people to refer you. And that's a really nice thing to do. Bucket 2, this is new people. Like this is the people perceive as the scary bit of networking. It's like, oh my God, I don't know them. They're going to tell me to go away. You know, all those thoughts that go through people's minds of, oh, I don't want to do it. And just to put it in context, I'm going to read it from my phone. There's a great quote I saw on Instagram. And it sums it up really nicely. And it's like, if you try and fail, congratulations. Most people won't even try. Which I think is really, really nice. It sums it up great. What's the worst that can happen? You drop someone a note and you ask them, hey, love to meet you for a coffee. Do you have 5 minutes? When do you have 5 minutes? And they say no. Fine. You know, not everyone's going to say yes. The more you do it, the better you get at it. But just try. Worst case scenario, they say no. Best case scenario, they say, let's go. Love to. And then you speak with them. And then you have a chat and you find out what their story is and things. And then you put them in your diary for a couple of months and you reconnect. Hey, how's it going? And suddenly they're in your bucket 1. Don't go in the mindset of selling. Bucket 2 is new folks. So many people are selling in that kind of bucket 2. To jump on LinkedIn, a wonderful place. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on. But all these messages you get, all these DMs, it's all sales stuff. I got some person messaging me 10 times, basically selling. There's ways to do it. Just ask, do a list. So what I do a huge list of the folks that I'd love to get to know, and then start reaching out. And there's so many ways to reach out, you know, the social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc., email, phone call, although phone call is a little bit more aggressive nowadays. I think it's changed a lot. But, you know, however you feel comfortable digitally to connect with folks, just, again, go for it and do a little bit every day. It takes 2 seconds. Jump on LinkedIn, search in the search bar for the sector or the people you want to meet. So maybe for me, it might be chief people officers. Stick it in, sort it by people. I can start reaching out digitally. It's wonderful. You can be the introvert, right? The excuse you've been using not to go and, you know, meet someone in a live networking event. You can do it from your home and you can just like people's stuff. So if you start liking and commenting on all my stuff, I'm going to notice you. And of course, I'm going to want to meet you. So to summarize that up, be genuine, take a real interest and be curious about people. Like want to be friends with them, you know, like really want to understand their story and what you can do for them. And it's just such a really lovely way to go about doing it. And that's what I would do. But overcoming barriers and gaining confidence. I speak with so many people. Everyone has this issue, like everyone, right? Even the most confident person in the room, the most confident person you know, everyone gets that feeling in their stomach. You've rocked up to a networking event. You don't know anyone. It's scary. That initial fear stops people networking and from building relationships. Ignore it. Focus on what you can control and forget the rest. And you just appreciate that everyone's in the same position and everyone's feeling the same. And so, you know, try and make that first, you know, that first connection, that first conversation, that the conversation started, and then you'll find that just people are so happy to chat. Yeah, it's a really good way to go about doing it. You know, the other thing is take ownership of your growth. So when you're networking with folks in your industry, a lot of the time people are thinking, you know, like, what do you say? You know, I'm not going to know. You have this kind of, they call it like, you know, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I'm not experienced enough. I'm not whatever enough. You know, that's going through a lot of people's minds. And I think for me, I like to continue to learn and develop. There's always someone that knows more than me. There's always something that I can learn from someone. A lot of the time I come in with, I think of the questions like, what do I want to know? What do I want to find out? And I take a real interest. And it's a really nice way to go about it, because suddenly when you're asking questions, you're in control. I ask you a question, you've got to respond to me. Like, it's rude, right? Some people respond with a question, and it's a bit, look at like some of the political debates, and they don't quite answer the question, and they avoid it, and you can you can smell it a mile away, and it's like, oh, really? Networking is different, right? You like prepare your questions, something really interesting, something you want to find out about someone, and then suddenly you have the power in the conversation. It gives you a bit more confidence because you're in a conversation, and for the person receiving the question, like, it's actually really cool. Like, I love being asked questions because people like people that listen to them. You can't help it. Like, I was interviewing someone last week for a job, and they'd clearly done their research, and they jumped online, they checked out some of my stuff, and I said, hey, lovely to meet you. And they dived in with I watched this video, it was great, and they'd prepared a question about it, and I was like, wow, awesome. And then suddenly I couldn't help it. I suddenly, like, you start to like that person. You just can't help it. So do that. Prepare, take ownership for your learning and development, and it really helps with networking. The other thing I would do is also find mentors. We all need a support group around us, and I often call it like being the CEO of your career, and put a personal board of directors together. These are people that have different skill sets. They're not just going to be like, yes, I agree with you. Of course, they're going to challenge you. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you believe what you believe? Have you thought about doing it this way? So to put a personal board of directors together, I would really think about, if you don't already, a few mentors, a personal board of directors. It's such a wonderful way to do it. It's taking ownership. It's being proactive. It's a really lovely way to do it. I've had mentors the whole way through. I started out, I started university, I set up a business. I went into the recruiting sector. Then I set up my own business almost 13 years ago now. And I've not done it on my own. I've had help from loads and loads and loads of people that, have been like, I've actually asked to be a mentor, people that haven't even realized it, but have been amazing helps and mentors to me. And I've done all of that through networking, like taking an interest in people and genuinely wanting to make friends. And it's so powerful. And so if you don't already, find mentors, and you could, you'd be wanting to start a business, or, you could be employed in a company and wanting to progress and move forward. Like, we all need help. And it's a really good way to think of it. Like, you are a business, you're the CEO. So run your career like a business. And it's a brilliant way to do it. On the flip side, send the elevator back down. Like, share your knowledge of people, and it helps them immensely. And it also helps you to build your confidence, because you probably know an awful lot more than you think you know. And you've got a lot of stuff to share. Like, our journeys are our journeys, and we all have these unique stories, and we all take different paths in life, right? There's never a right way per se. Like, there's loads of different routes to get to where you want to get to. So send the elevator back down. Help folks, look for mentees, and look to give back, look to do other things. And again, this is all part of life. This is all networking. This is all building communities. This is all helping people. And it's a really, really nice thing to do. And I would strongly recommend you do that. And it's just brilliant. I spoke with a wonderful coach, Mary Rezek. She's an executive coach. What wonderful lady. And we did a great podcast on this very thing. I get so nervous before I do a presentation or meet a client, as I don't think I'm good enough. What can I do?
Okay, so there's two parts to this question. One is self-management around nervousness, and then what are the tools and techniques? So first of all, you're nervous, so what? Right? It's going to happen. It's like getting up on a stage and realizing that all these eyes are on you. I want you to realize that you're actually having a one-on-one conversation with the room. You're not having a multiple conversation. It's a one-on-one. So remember that you can connect with one or two people, your allies. And when you don't think that you're good enough, always go to facts. What do you know? And do the 1, 2, 3. Here's a reason why. And then summarize. Okay. The other is get to the point and don't overstate what you think that they want to know. Ask them another question to clarify first, that you can answer the question. Just answer the question within one sentence and wait and pause and see if they have anything else to contribute. You're going to be nervous. I do some TED Talk speaker coaching, and it is terrifying to get onto that red dot. And there's a lot of practice. You walk in and your knees are shaking, and the one thing that I find, and this is when the speakers are on that red dot, it's know your first 3 sentences. Same thing with the presentation. Have some note cards. Do something that will allow you to remember the first start of what you need to say, and the rest will flow. So I think there's more than just prepare. All right. It's be ready for what I call the red herrings, or the lob into a question that you're like, I don't know. Realize that that's going to happen, and be prepared for that around the ideas that you may not know or your team may not know, and own it.
Okay, so now you've got the confidence. Now you've realized not to worry about the things you can't affect, to suck it up. How do you actually go about growing your network? So nowadays there's 2 ways, and there's probably always been 2 ways, but there's the real live in an event, sitting next to someone. Hi, I'm Lewis. Nice to meet you. How you doing? And there's the virtual world. Probably thanks to COVID, the virtual networking, the virtual world has grown exponentially. You know, I run a global firm, and I'm networking with people from all over the world, making friends. I've got some amazing friends I've made the last 2.5 years, and we've never met in person, ever. But we've got really friendly. We've helped each other. We've given each other work. You know, just fantastic. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for LinkedIn. It's completely free. So you can jump on there. You can search for the person you're looking to. You can sort it by people, location, industry, and you can start networking. It's the modern day cocktail party, and you don't even have to leave your house. It's incredibly powerful. Like your next client, your next team member, whoever, they're on LinkedIn. They're all on there. And so it's fantastic. So use it. And you can do 5 minutes a day on there, just 5 minutes. Find the folks you want to connect with, start liking their content. It takes no effort just to press the like button. Then as you build up your momentum, you can start commenting. And again, you can start with simply, thanks for sharing, great post, thank you so much. Then you can start to actually generate your own content. You can start to develop your own written content. You can comment on an article. You could do a video piece. You could share some audio. You could do a poll. Hey, there's a whole host of things as you start to build your confidence. And then suddenly you're starting to building a community virtually. You haven't even dropped a note to anyone yet. You're just building your community. People are seeing you virtually. They're seeing you like, they're seeing you comment, they're seeing you share. These are folks in your industry. You're building up your connections and followers on LinkedIn. And suddenly you're building, without even knowing it, you're building a community. And that's networking. And people are seeing you contribute. It's great. And then you want to convert that to, I actually want to like speak with someone like this. You could email them. You could tweet them. You can send them an Instagram message. You can connect on Facebook. You can send them an SMS. You can send them a WhatsApp. There's a million ways to do it. But the folks, if we go back onto the LinkedIn platform, the folks who've been commenting and liking and contributing and stuff, they've started to like your stuff. Send them a little message saying, like, love your content. Really enjoyed getting to know you. Let's jump on a call. With networking, it's all, for me, it's all about storytelling. It's you wanting to understand someone's story, and it's an opportunity for you to then tell your story, because this is going to be two-way. You're taking interest in them, they want to take an interest with you, and suddenly when you share stories with each other, that's when you really start to understand. It's like, you know, you want to understand before you can be understood, and you need to try and understand where each other are coming from to then find a common ground of interest. And you find, you know, if you take the time to look and to listen to people is we share so much common stuff with people, more than you think. And so for me in networking, storytelling is just an incredibly powerful way to build connection and to understand people. It's just really, really powerful. So to prepare your story, like think about it. Like what's the story? I asked that to some people, hey, what's your story, whatever. But people don't think of it. They don't necessarily prepare it. And we all have the most incredible, wonderful stories, and it's authentic. And that's the way to network now. That's it. So prepare that, and it's engaging. Be curious. Want to understand where people are coming from. Want to understand their story. Want to help people, and everything else will take care of itself. And I think that's a really, really wonderful thing to do. Be kind, be empathetic. That is your best strategy. So in summary, with networking, think about it as making friends with people, building a community, taking a real interest, and do that through wanting to understand people's stories and you telling your story. If you take that approach, it will transform the way you network. Take the sales out of it. Don't go in like wanting a sale, like, I need a sale, and do you have any business for me? And take that all out. That will happen. That will be a byproduct of just making friends with people, taking an interest, be genuine and authentic. If you're not, people can tell. So take that approach. Hope you find it useful.